Hi guys, it's Amanda Yates and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're a subscriber. Thank you so much. I have made a tray for the Slay a Tray Thursday collaboration put together by Beverly, Kathy, and Crystal. I'm doing blooms too. Can you believe it? I actually made blooms the first time. This is actually my first time doing a tray as well. So I'm pretty excited about how it turned out. There were lots of mistakes, things happened, but you know, you just keep moving forward. Right now in this video, you are seeing me put some confetti in cups, and those are going to be the center of my blooms. They're tube confetti that I got from Dollar Tree. And now I'm just going to put my resin into 5 of these coaster molds, and that's going to just set for a minute while I put the centers in, and I'm going to let it come up to temperature. Now I'm going to tell you right now, when I actually got into making my blooms, I researched blooms like crazy. Like, I watched everyone's videos on how to do blooms. I've been watching blooms for 3 months now, and you know what? I've only been working with resin for 3 months now. So I have been like examining how to make blooms, and everything that I learned about that, using a lighter to pop my bubbles here, just so you know what that was. Everything I learned, everything I observed in everyone's video, that all goes out the door. That all goes completely out the door. I managed to keep some things, like here's me putting the centers in to my molds, and these are my bees. I use the leftover confetti and resin to fill my bees up, and they turned out really cute. I really like them. I do love this tube confetti. It's really fun to play with. It's hard to keep in place, but it's fun to play with. I'm going to be getting some more of that. So right here, I am dropping in Picasso's Rose Hip was the first color I went with. The second color was Fuchsia, and then the third color is Magenta. And that's going to be my first set of flowers, very pink. My second set, I am doing Ruby and then Sunset on the next layer. And then the third color is Marigold. And I'm using Let's Resin's Ocean White in a bit of resin to create my white resin for the bloom. Now watch, here's where it happens. Here's where I go off kilter. I started playing around with other designs. I was like, okay, fine, I saw all these different experimental stuff, let me do that. And yeah, it kind of works. I don't know, I like my blooms. I think they turned out great. For my first try, they're awesome. This is where it really goes wrong. I didn't do the pulls right, you know, like I didn't do the 12, then 6, then 3, then 9, like most people do, and then, you know, break all those in half and then swirl and all that stuff. I just kind of went a little crazy. Okay, well, here's how you make a tray. You painted a really bad color, and you decide you don't like that color, so you put some green on it and make it look like grass. Decide that's not really quite enough, so you put some yellow on it, and you make that look like highlighted grass. And then you decide you don't like the thing at all, and you go over it with a whitewash until you can barely see it. And then when you get to this point, you can go ahead and take a white brush and fling some paint around and think, oh, fireflies, that's cool. And then realize, oh no, this is bees. So we're gonna stay with it and see what happens. Here's a demo, guys. These are my bees, and they turned out really, look at those little suckers. They are so cute. They are just adorable. And the tube confetti just works in them. It looks like they look like little honey pots, the bees themselves. It's really cute. So I'm gonna take all those out, and then we'll get to my blooms. Now I know, we're still not at a tray, right? We have a tray that's separate from the coasters. I have a plan. We'll see how it works out, but I have a plan. Pop all these guys out. And this mold is awesome. I'm going to be playing with blooms for a while now. There's my first one. I like that one. That one's a little bit more traditional. This one is kind of wispy. I like this one too. And then we get into these. These are my favorites because of the colors. However, we have truffula trees going on. If you're familiar with the Lorax, you'll understand truffula trees. And then this one, I like this. This has a kind of a chrysanthemum kind of thing going on, which I like. So here's my plan. I'm going to take this gold chunky foil here, another Dollar Tree purchase. I like it though because it's chunky. And then Let's Resin's resin dye in emerald green. And I'm going to put that in about 6 ounces of resin. And right now, my coasters are not mounted on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up the chunks of gold leaf, and then they're big chunks. I just mash them up in there. And I'm going to pour that, and then I'm going to place my coasters into that first layer of resin and let that set. And once that gets in place, my mold will start, my tray will start to take shape. You'll see here in a minute. But before that, we're getting to my favorite part. Well, not this part. I'm taping up my handles. Oh, P.S. If you do decide to tape up your handles, which I highly suggest so you don't make a huge mess everywhere, be sure that you don't let your tape drop down further than where you're going to pour your resin, because I may or may not have some blue painter's tape in my tray. Still right now as we speak. I may have hidden it, but it's still there. Okay, this is my favorite part. I'm scraping out every last bit of that resin that I have, and it's cool because it's still a see-through green, so it's just giving it that green hue. And the gold flakes in there are the gold chunks, really. It's just really pretty. I love it. I absolutely adore how this is turning out. Now see, as far as using the tongue depressor, I get a little impatient with it. I used to pour paint. A long time ago, I was a paint pourer back years ago. And for me, it's like, no, we need this. We need to roll that beautiful dripping bean footage right there, because I absolutely adore watching a pour slide. I think it's the coolest thing in the world. And honestly, I had to cut this down because I wanted to put a lot more footage of this in there. And yeah, so here we go. We're back to where we're going. And I'm going to start placing my coasters where I want them positioned on my tray. Now, my idea with this is that once I put the coasters in, I can kind of camouflage them as if they were actually built into the tray, into the resin itself. Now, if you decide to do this, make sure that when you place your coasters in, that you really make sure you get all your air pockets out. You just want to press really, really hard. And you can see through it. You can see if there are any bubbles underneath the coasters when you're setting them. But you'll see me here. I use some brute force in order to get these to stay down and make sure I get all the bubbles out from underneath, just so that it has a secure, attachment to the resin. Two fingers. There we go. All right, and here we are the next morning. Nope, this is that evening. This is about 4 hours later, and I'm just doing a clear coat on everything. Now, one of my coasters was about 2 millimeters thicker than the rest, and that will cause some calamity coming up in a little bit. However, the way I look at it is, in art, things are going to do what they're going to do, especially with resin. Resin's going to do resin. You might have an idea for it, but it's going to do whatever it wants to do. So you'll see in a minute. I'll explain more in a minute. Here at this part, I am just taking my Let's Resin chrome markers in gold. I think that's a chisel head there. And I am just adding a little bit more detail to my bees. They looked really cute the way they were, but I just wanted them to have more of a, when you look at them, you're not confused on what insect it is. You want to make sure it's a bee. So I gave it some gold stripes, and I gave it some black stripes with a Sharpie. And then I'm just going to pour more resin on top, and I'm locking those bees in place now. The two that are already on the flowers, I did come back and push them in about a half an hour before I filmed this, when I was right before I started mixing up my resin. And so they're pretty stuck in at this point. The one at the top, I'm going to hang on to him when I tilt the tray here and get him secure into place. Now, back to what I was saying about resin's going to do what resin's going to do, art's going to do what art's going to do. When I realized that I was having a problem with the height of that one coaster, it's a coaster on the bottom left there. You can see it. It's just a little bit bigger, taller than the rest. I decided to be impatient and not put another layer of epoxy on, and instead put a full layer on the whole thing of UV resin. And then because it is so hot here in Virginia right now, 7 o'clock in the morning, took my beautiful tray out onto the porch and let the sun cure it, because the sun was beaming at that time. Oh, look, there's my bee. There's the flower. Isn't that cute? There's the bee again, the flower, other flower. I think they turned out really cute. Oh, there he is again, another bee. And that one's the green and pink one, I think. So anyhow, I went out on my porch with my UV tray, and this is what happened right here. Big old bubble, and I watched it. It happened right before me within like 3 seconds. And I tried everything I could to get rid of it. And then I decided, you know what? We're going with this. This is the way it is. This tray is just for me. It's for me to put my wire wrapping stuff on. That's what it was used for before. So I decided to make drips at the top with the UV resin. And then I forgot to tell you, or I forgot to show you, I taped it off, took it out, and spray painted the whole thing black. And here I'm just going to peel this off. I'm using the utility knife right here just because the black spray paint had really coated the paper and the tape that I used. And I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to peel anything off the sides. So I just used an X-Acto knife, not a utility knife, an X-Acto knife here to go ahead and make a line so that hopefully I don't take anything off the sides, which it worked. I didn't get anything off the sides. And see, I think just adding that outline of black around it, it just makes it pop out better. The flowers, I love the way that they are looking. I really do. So this is what I decided to do with those drips. I decided to make gold honey drips from the top of the tray. If something is wrong, you can always add something else to it and make it, you have artistic license to make it however you want. And that's exactly what I did. So I made the honey drips, and then I took my Let's Resin chrome marker and I just went around the edge. And so now I am going to just finish this up and take it outside and get a nice picture for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you to Beverly, Kathy, and Crystal for this collaboration and allowing me to have fun with you guys and let me bloom for the first time and make a tray for the first time. I'm so excited about it. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much. If you're new and you haven't subscribed, please feel free. You don't have to buy anything. It just helps my channel out. And be sure to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. And I will see you soon. Take care. Love you. Bye.